welcome to the second stream. I'm in a co-working space now. This is usually supposed to be more of the quiet area here. I don't have a second monitor. I will do my best to deliver. I have my iPad here on the side. My voice is very low. Let me see if I can turn this up without being too much, actually, let me move my microphone closer. Is this better now? Because if this would work, this would be fine. I don't want to scream around here. Am I a bit louder now? Okay, I'll just keep talking more loudly. It just feels weird because no one here is talking, but I'm allowed to. So let's see if someone kicks me off or not. Let's just get going. So for today, what we wanted to do was create the actual project that would be hosted on fullcycledevio, like on this website, which currently goes into nothingness. And of course, we'll do it the same way I showed you in the first stream. So we're going to create a new repository. We will call it the way the domain will be called. So I will be calling it fullcycledev.io. This is great. It will be a public repository, and this will be our web home for a long time. And I encourage everyone who is interested in contributing. Today, what we're going to try to achieve, I say try to because it depends on external services, is we want to give users the way to log in via Discord to the web page. I'm not sure what we will show logged in users, different than the non-logged in users yet, but this was a suggestion, and I want to follow up on this one. What was also interesting is scraping data of the community and tracking the size over additional time or over a longer time span. So we will record the Twitch followers, the Discord members, the Substack API, subscribers, as well as the YouTube subscribers. And I was playing around with the new Twitter API a few months ago, since well, it's the X API, and there were significant changes to the initial API, right? So there is only a limited capability of the version 1 API, which would have made it very easily to grab the follow account. It would be a simple HTTP call. But now I'm not sure if we can grab this easily, because usually, or what was possible, is to not use OAuth for this, but just create a bearer token on the developer portal and put that bearer token into your web app and make the call there, and this was fine. But I'm unsure if this still works. We will also have to look into how we do this for Discord. Probably we'll have to create a Discord application or a Discord bot, and the bot will be joining the fullcycledev Discord channel or server, sorry. And periodically it will grab the amount of people there. But we will all do this with assuming we do not have any prior knowledge. In fact, the last time I worked with Discord bot is 3 or 4 years in the past, so I would not assume that my knowledge is contemporary anymore. But as we did last time, we're going to start off with creating a new cookie cutter for Django. I will open up the GitHub page so everyone knows what we're talking about, in case you did not join the last stream or are watching the VOD. If you have any questions related to either the software side or also the business side, feel free to ask them. I have the chat over here, and I will be doing my best to answer them as good as I can. Off-topic questions are also super fine. The more engagement, the better, I think. Okay. We have already installed Cookie Cutter, and what we are going to do now is create the new project. We don't want the $sign. The $sign means that you execute this as a normal user. The other sign would be the, I think it's called pound, or the hashtag symbol. No, not this one, this one. This would mean that you will have to run it as a root user or as an admin user. Alright, I want to re-download it because there might have been new releases. And we will call it fullcycledevio. Do you always use cookie cutter? Yes. I used to create my own templates, but we will talk through the development options here, or through the options from the project generation, and I think it will be clear why we want to use cookie cutter for this one. We call it full cycle dev, because this is how the project files will also be inside Django will be called, and this is easier to type. Yeah, the amount of times that I failed typing my own name is interesting. This will be the actual domain name. I don't have an email address set up yet, but I might be doing this later on. Yes, it will be open source. Any one of you can contribute, anyone who cares. We will use my time zone. Not on Windows, we don't care about the editor-specific configurations. One thing, I rewatched the stream from last time, and I was talking very unclear at times. I was borderline mumbling. If this happens, give me like a mumble check or something, and I will be more conscious of the way I talk. Okay. Most recent Postgres version, we do use AWS for our provider as well as Mailgun. Don't use async yet, no DRF, no frontline pipeline. Of course we'll use Celery because we need Celery to periodically fetch all the stats. Do we care about MailPit honestly? Well, we might in the future. MailPit is only a in the development in the local environment, so there's no harm for the deployment when we take yes here. And we won't use Sentry for now. We might do it later on, or we will. We can always retrofit anything here, but for now I don't think we will need Sentry. We will use white noise to host our static files. We don't use Heroku. Do we want? No, we will edit it on our own later. No debug. Let's go. Okay, great. So we have this initialized now. What we don't have is this one here. We create this repository. We clone this one. Okay. Now we have our fullcycledev.io folder or directory and the -io. So I will have to lock you out for one quick second because I don't want to leak my folder structure. I mean, I don't care about the folder structure, but there might be stuff from other clients that I'm, of course, not allowed to show you. Again, what I'm doing now behind the scenes is copying all the project files from the generated directory into the Git repository. And I will open up PyCharm. Oh, my hair is really messed up. Oh well. So I'm closing everything now, and now we can have a look again. What would be different if you chose any editor? We are very welcome to just. Oh, hang on. This is not something that you should have been looking at. Let's just pretend you didn't see this, right? We open our Git repository. There, what you just saw that I accidentally leaked here was one of my clients' projects that I've been working on, and we actually did use Celery here for scheduling something. The difference would be, I think, there's this, if you're using PyCharm, there's this .idea folder that will be created, and there will also be a .vs Code folder created if you opt to go with VS Code. I personally don't like all these configs because I have my own configs that I'm fine with. But you do what you prefer. You can, of course, always try out every option that's there, right? So if you can just create projects, start them, and if you don't like anything of the options, you can just start a new project. But if you want to read the cookie cutter, I can give you a short pointer how this would work. Everything that's in double curly braces is something that will be edited when creating the project. The way a cookie cutter works, it always works against the template repository. And for example, this one is the cookie cutter template repository from the Django, cookie cutter Django. And you see here, when we answered all these questions, it asked us for a project slug. So the name of this directory will be substituted with the project slug. And if we look into all the project files we see here, this is the .ideo folder, and this will only be created if we opted to have the the PyCharm settings. The names of these ones will always be the same, but it won't be inside inside the actual, where is it? Here it would be the project files, and let me think about, now let's go into the config, let's go into the base config. There will be a lot of different things to be seen here. There will be ifs, depending on if you select here. If you opted into using Docker, right? This is something that will be added, because if you don't use Docker, you will use the SQLite database, I think. If you don't, you will be redirected towards the Postgres service that will be generated, right? If you're using Windows, it will use the localhost. Otherwise, it's not needed. You're free to browse here. If you're, for example, opted into using Celery, of course, the Celery beat will be added to third-party apps. As well, if you're using the Django REST framework, there's a couple of things that will be added too. If you want to use Webpack as your frontline pipeline, it will also be added here. This can give you a good overview of what's possible and what the actual additional requirements are. Because if you're using the REST framework, you need the CORS middleware for handling calls from outside your own application, I want to say. Again, more stuff here than I can talk about in like an hour, in like a day. But if you're interested in how this actually works behind the scenes, give it a go. If you want to create your own cookie cutter, maybe not with Django, but with something else, it works the same way, right? All right, let's go back to our editor. This is what we just generated. All right. What I did, again, and I will always do at the beginning, is add my .idea folder here, because I don't like to have this in version control, right? Because everyone, this is the .idea folder is pretty much the editor settings, or the ID settings. And if you're using PyCharm, you might have completely different ones than I do, right? And that's fine. You use your settings, and I use mine settings. And if we do not check this into version control and to have this on GitHub, each of us can use their own ones, right? And I would also ignore the VS Code settings here. Let's put it into here, because we might actually be more people collaborating on this one. Like, if you're interested in changing something here, maybe making it prettier, because I'm not the best front-end style guy, go on. You're more than welcome to chime in. But in order that you can change anything, we actually need to put everything onto GitHub, right? We do it the same way we did last time. On the last stream, I will remove the docs folder because I'm really not a fan of it, which means that I also remove the Docker service. We need one line here. I will again copy paste this, call it Docker Compose YAML, because the big benefit is we don't need to specify a file if it's called Docker Compose. We can just say Docker Compose up. Anything else we want to change here before we start it first? Maybe actually start it first before we put it into GitHub. Maybe there's anything that we forgot. We say Docker Compose up. Actually, we need to start up Docker first, obviously. Waiting until the little whale is provisioned up top. It is ready. Anyone of you noticed that there's a huge performance increase recently with Docker? Like around the same time when the resource saver mode came into play? I think I did. That might just be my imagination here. They did add Rosetta support. I see. This makes a lot of sense. If there are any questions, you can either use the stream chat, or if there's suggestions for maybe another stream, put them in the Discord server. We will be giving our best to include all of these things. We can either use the old project from the first stream to add more and more functionality, or we can create a new project. And I would also be fine if we create something for later commercial use. If you have anything that an idea you have, but you don't know how to develop it, we can do the first things before you actually sell it to a client together on stream for free for you. If you have an idea, we can develop it in the public, of course, anyone can watch. We can develop it for free. Doesn't really have to be open source after you want to take over. So if this is something that you always had an idea, but you're not really sure how to get it going, we can do the pointers or the basic stuff together, if you're fine with that. This is one of the offers I can make. All right, so the initial startup worked. This is great. Perfect. So let's put everything onto GitHub. You can use the command line for Git. It's super fine. I usually use it most of the time as well. But if you're not a super advanced user or not used to working with the command line, you can always use the visual representation here. It is really great. The Python representation is great, and the VS Code representation was also fine. Okay. So we call this initial commit as always. We commit and push. So any one of you who wants to work along, for example, is free to do so. I will also give you a quick overview how you can actually contribute, right? How you can actually work with us here. So now there are the initial files here after a quick refresh, and this is open source. Any one of you can contribute, but you can't just check this out, make your changes and push them again, right? This doesn't work because this is my repository. And I'm want to see the admin of this one, and I have to approve changes here. Unless you're added as a contributor, and if you're doing more and more stuff, I'm very welcome to add you as a contributor. I always said this does not have to be a one-man show, and in fact, I don't want this to be a one-man show. So what you would do is, you have a fork icon here. You fork this. When you fork this, in fact, let me show you something, because I just yesterday made something that works like this. We do Python Substack here, which is a fork of this repository. See, this is open source. What it does, it creates an interface a Python interface for Substack. If we have a chat, what Substack does, if you have been following us along for a bit, I'm sure you know Substack. Substack is the blogging newsletter platform that we use, this one, where I recapped, for example, our last the first week of Full Cycle Dev. It was amazing. We had a lot of interaction. I put the numbers here, which in the future I hopefully don't have to do manually anymore, because we will create something that will fetch this on our own. Yeah. And what's next? For a few goals, if I can chime into this here, we want to become a Twitch affiliate, of course, and we have most of these things checked up. Checked. Most of these boxes are checked, right? So we had 21 concurrent viewers on average, which is great. We have a bit fewer today, but it's fine. We have more than 50 followers. We will be easily over these 8 hours per month, but the more tricky one will be streaming 7 days per month. And if this is November, we will have to put in, after this one, 5 more streams. And in fact, I will be thinking about doing the next one on Friday. So if you're into this will be in the setting you're used to, because I will be at home on Friday again. And our next goal will be becoming a discoverable Discord community, right? What we need for this one is to actually have more than 1,000 members. We have over 360 members for now, which is fine, which is more than 35% there. But maybe we'll also have to brainstorm some things how to get the word out. But let's get back to what I wanted to tell you about how to to work on open source projects. This project is Python Substack, right? This was created by I think, a single person, and there was something missing that we needed, right? What it does not allow us to do is actually fetch the subscriber count from a Substack publication, from Substack newsletter. So I wanted to have this on there, so I can either cry around, please do this, or I could actually get going and do it myself. In fact, what I did first, I asked whether they are interested in if they care about having this information added, and I also told them that I would be happy to open a pull request if that's cool with them. And since I thought I might want to do this anyway, I wouldn't even care if they want to edit into the repository, so I would just create it on my own. What I did, I clicked on fork here, which created one. You see here, this is their username, and this is my username. It's the same, but it says here forked from their repository, so they are linked together. I made my changes here. In fact, it says there are two commits ahead, which the 2 commits I made to. It's really simple. It's nothing that you would have to be a rocket scientist for. This gives you the subscriber count, and this is just an example so people would know how to use it. And after I was done with this, with my repository, here it says you can either sync fork, which would put their changes into your repository, or you can contribute, which means put your own, ask them to put your changes into theirs. It will open a pull request here, and it says it's able to merge automatically, so they wouldn't even have to do more than click a button. But I already did this, so there's this open pull request here by me, which I did yesterday later on, because I wanted to play around with their product. Yeah, the second they have a merge button here somewhere, right? Second they hit on merge, this will be available for everyone. So that's kind of cool, and that's the same you can do with this repository. If you want to make changes, you just fork it. You click over here, click fork, make your changes, and then ask me to merge this into the main web app. There we go. Open source is cool. I did not do nearly as much open source work that I would like to, and I'm thinking about changing this. All right. Now we do have this one here. This is our web app that we care about. What do we want to do here now? Let's look back about. Let's look at this little cheat sheet. We want to periodically record social stats. So, if we want to do something periodically, what do we want? Make it a salary task. Exactly. How do we do this? Same as last time. We create a tasks folder, and we create our task there. Cookie Cutter comes with a lot of examples already that aren't doing much, but are just there for information purposes. For example, there is this tasks pie, which doesn't do much, but it shows us how we would create a salary task. So we want to configure our interpreter, of course, again. We want to have it on Docker Compose from this file in the Django service. There we go, with quick check. Use our system interpreter, all right. I will scan all the already installed packages on the remote container. So these squiggly lines under Django will be resolved shortly. Okay, but something like this tasks folder is something that we want to, or this tasks file is something we want to create for our social stats too. The question is, where do we want to put this? Because it should be in a meaningful location, right? So we can either create a new app for socials, where we handle everything from socials, whether it be scraping or these tasks, and where we also show users the way they work, right? So I'm just gonna create a new app and call it social. Let's kill the dev server here. Start app. Not plowing this time. It will be socials this time. All right. Where is it? Put this into this directory. Into base. We want to, of course, add this to our own apps. Let's see if this Nah, this is not what we want. Yesterday or last time we did have a bit of an issue with the AI completion, and it doesn't look that much better this time. Okay, we're good. Socials are added. We have our socials here. We copy this tasks pie from users into this. Yes, we want to add it to Git. We don't care about the user model. Hang on. Just want to have this task here. Get, we call it get social stats. And for now it doesn't do anything. Okay. So we got going here. What we also would care about is having some sort of model here. And every time we scrape, we add a new model instance, and then we can actually have our grade graph over time. Again, questions, whether it will be software or business related, please feel free to ask. The way I did last time, I added this utils file for models, right? And I'm gonna do it again. We do models.py. We're gonna create our base model again, right? So from DjangoDB models, we do, we call it base model. Is this okay? Yes, this is fine. We also want to do a UUID here. No, I want this one. Yes, we also need to import. This actually is not what we want. We also want to have this as the primary key. Yes, perfect. So what we do have here now, sorry. We do have the default. So every time a new model that is inheriting base model will have a UUID. It will not be editable, of course. Editable. It will be unique and will be the primary key. So if you're looking into your Django admin, then you will not see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the URL. You will see the long UUID. Big benefit is also you can put the UUID out publicly facing without telling people anything about your database. Because if you otherwise you would expose your primary key. You will expose your primary key here too, but it will also be the DB index. So if people create something and they see their UUID or their ID or the primary key as 1 or 2, they see they are very first people to use this product, and this might actually not spark much confidence in them. Okay, so the meta options here are abstract, which means we cannot create a base model. We can only create children of base models, and this is the standard ordering. We'll be first check for the created ones, and then afterwards the modified. Okay, this is great for socials. We want to create our, we call it social stats. We want to inherit the base model that we just created, so we're going to import this one. What do we care here? We call it Twitch followers. Be an integer field. Okay. Where is it? From DjangoDB models is what we care about. This one. We said we want to have YouTube subscribers. Okay. Alright. Nope, I don't use Instagram, but we can have Substack subscribers. Perfect. Anything else that I'm forgetting? Discord, of course. Discord members. Okay. If we miss something here, we can always edit back, right? So this would be social stats. Every time this task would be executed, it would somehow fetch us all of these. I used Twitch followers 2 times. No, this says Twitter followers here. I also thought it said the same, but this says Twitter and this says Twitch. Do you like to put raw UUIDs in your field, or do you hash or use slugs to make URLs look friendlier? I personally put the UUID there because I think it looks really great. I think it looks extremely professional if you have a UUID in your URL. This might just be my bias, but yeah, you can have a slug if you care. You can have a slug or anything else, or you can shorten it even maybe. But that's up to you. I really like to expose the UUIDs. What autocomplete plugin am I using? Two things. I'm using I'm not using any plugin for autocomplete per se. What I'm using is the PyCharm editor, of course. That suggests me some things, and the AI thingy that you see here is GitHub Copilot. There was a suggestion of a different AI assistant recently. So if you find anything that's better than GitHub Copilot, go ahead. Yeah, if you've been working with Rails, Django I think is a really good transition if you care about this. There will be also a lot of things that are already quite natural to you, yeah. That's why UUID is preferred, is the trading of performance for security. I don't think it's you're compromising your security in any way here. It doesn't make any difference if you would instead expose your DB index like 123 to the end user, right? And if users have the UUID, they can't do much without it, because if you were to use the UUID in your URL to change any instances of models, you would of course also put in a usage restriction, like only the owner of the model actually can edit it. But if you want to share this with someone else, or if this, for example, is like an invite that you want to send to someone, it's super easy to just send this along, right? Okay, Toby, sorry that you have to leave again. Enjoy your meeting. So, these are the few things that we care about. We will try to populate them now. And we will have to, of course, we will have to research each of these options individually. I have been, as I mentioned initially, I have been looking at the Twitter API a while ago, and I'm not sure if this works easily, because ideally what we just would want to have is have an API key to fetch this data and be fine with it. Maybe some things are actually public too. Maybe we can use something like, this is just an idea, I'm not sure if they allow it, but I'm not sure if you know about Social Blade, right? This is a website that also catches the stuff. So if I put my YouTube name in here, it will tell you user is not found. Well, that's me. Okay. We'll say that I have like 42 subscribers, 171 video views, which has just been the recording from the last stream. So I think that's actually pretty good. I'm not earning anything. That's fine. Isn't the goal anyway. But for example, here it says I have 42 subscribers. Maybe I can grab this off Social Blade if I can't grab this off YouTube. This is just what I'm saying. Right, so what we can also do is we can inspect the website, have a look at the network here, clear this out, reload the page, and see a lot of stuff that it requested, right? We're looking for something that looks like a request to their backend. This always, of course, depends on which technology they're using. If they're not using an API for the front end to connect with the backend, like we are not using an API, for example, you will not be able to get this data here. So we're just having we're quickly scrolling through this if there's anything that looks the way it looks like it would hold such information, and I don't think it does. For example, this might be interesting now. If you ever want to check if something is using the same technology as you do, there's this website. It's called Built With. Right, technology lookup. You put in your socialblade.com or whatever you care about, and it says you all the tracking it uses. For example, they're using a lot of tracking. Or Webalizer Chrome extension. Yeah, if you say so. I'm not familiar with it, but it might be doing the same. Oh, JetBrains has an experimental full-line code completion plugin. This is very interesting. I will make sure to check this out. Okay, there's stuff here, there's stuff here. This is all not what we care about. We actually want to... They're using Stripe for payment, so this is some reinforcement that we did a good job last time. JavaScript libraries, yeah, really doing much here, right? They're hosting on Cloudflare, but what we care about is their actual technology that they're using. Yeah, okay, we can't look this one up. Okay, let's just not go that deep, because we're actually losing track here. Okay, so we care about YouTube, we care about Twitch, we care about Discord, and we care about what else? Substack, Discord. I know how to do Substack because I actually added it to this guy's repository yesterday. So is there anything that you guys care about most that we should start with? I would be very grateful if it weren't for Twitter, because this is surely the most pain in the ass. Anyone has a preference? Let's just go with the one that gets the fastest results. What if from easy to hard? Yeah, okay. The thing is, all of these things, or like Substack subscribers, that's not public information, right? You will not know how many subscribers we have on Substack, but I'm glad to show you. But I will not leak any email, of course. So let's just make you guys not look into this while I'm showing where it's shown, so because I don't want to leak any of your emails, of course. Okay. I wouldn't have leaked it anyway. Here we see the publications, or the publication, and it has 71 subscribers. And we need this information, right? We want to have this number. And if we, of course, open this one up in a private tab, there's no way to find this out. If you go on about, you see a few things, but you don't see the subscriber count anywhere. It's not public, and I don't think I can make it public. So in order to get this, I need to have my access credential in somewhere accessible by the web app, which means I need to have a username and an API key or a password stored somewhere, and I will have to expose this to you on stream here, which is not what I want to do. But we can go with YouTube. The thing is, for Discord and Twitter, you will need to have an application. You have to set up a Discord application or anything the likes, and that's the way it works. I don't know how Twitch works. I don't know how YouTube works. But it might just be public. We can just Google get a YouTube subscriber count. Maybe actually put in API or something. YouTube data API, this sounds like it will be very annoying to deal with again. You can try API request here. Okay. This will probably not be without an API key. Hang on, I did not really look at this much. Yeah, it says key, it says your key. So we'll have to sign up for the YouTube data API, which is fine. I wasn't expecting to do anything without signing up for an API. So will be an error because we're not authenticated. User said your API key, but this would be a channel, right? So probably our channel. Okay, So let's sign up for a YouTube key, or do we want to sign up for a Discord client first? Let's look how far we can go without leaking any personal information here. No. Okay, add YouTube functionality to your site. I think this is what we want to do. Okay, need a Google account to access. Okay, we have a Google account. Create a project and obtain authorization credentials so your application can submit requests. I do have a few projects from clients that I can't show you. Okay, let's just create this without you guys looking, of course. I am creating a new project. Call it fullcycledevio. Okay, actually I think I will be able to change the keys later on, so I just suggest we look at it so you can see what I'm seeing. We select this project. Want to create credentials here. This is the same if you were to, for example, log into use Google for social login. Okay. Obtain authorization credentials. This is here. We want to create credentials. I think we only want to have a simple API key. Register to use. Okay, we have an API key leaked now. What do we want to have here? We care about YouTube, view all products. How to use Google, GitHub, or Discord for social login would be interesting thing to show. Okay, it was one of the things we wanted to do anyway. To let me remove these keys first. Then let's just go with the Discord login, because creating the Discord login will also give us the same stuff that we need to actually scrape the data, right? So let's go again. Let's go ahead to make. Let's go again ahead and do Discord first. Actually, let me show you the way you would do it if you had never done this before. Since we're using for terms of authentication, we're using Django all auth, right? So I have looked this one up before, of course, but I will tell you more about the way all auth works. All auth is a huge authentication library with an immense amount of potential, right? So it uses the default Django authentication model and enhances it by a lot. You can do really much. It has support for single sign-on, for SAML 2.0. You can use a lot of providers. I will show you the list. It's huge. You can. I mean, I can't even tell you how much it does in a short amount. But the installation, you don't care about this, because if you're using cookie cutter, it has already been registered. For social accounts, this is what we care about now. Is let's go towards provider configuration. Actually, I want to see where all the providers are providers here. Be ready to be amazed. These providers have all been configured and are pretty much easily ready to go. You scroll through this and you use what you want to, right? We have Twitter here, we have Twitch, but this is OAuth 2. This is a bit of a more complicated setup if we want to use it outside of just getting our follow account. We have Twitch here. We could easily use Twitch to log in. Someone was asking whether there are any Microsoft products there. Yes, you can use the Microsoft Graph here to authenticate with this. You can also use Keycloak if you're having something externally hosted, for example. Again, there is a lot of stuff. You can also use Google here. If you want to have Google as your provider, you click here, and it tells you pretty much everything you need to do. How you configure everything, where to get the access keys. Here, it says you create ID, and then you go to credentials and do exactly what I just did for you, right? Adding TikTok to the list. Sure, if you care about adding TikTok here, I'm sure they're still taking pull requests. But right now we care about Discord. I'm sure it's there too. Yes. So create you see there's not much stuff to show here, right? You go here, you create an application. I have created a few before. You can actually call it a bot. Do we care about making this a bot? Maybe later on. Okay, we have a public key here. We have an application ID. We have probably some whitelisted URLs. Okay, let's see what they tell us. Get your key and secret here. So we need to get our key and secret somewhere here. Probably here, right? Yeah, we have our key. I think this is the key, and this will be the secret. And this will be our redirect. Okay, so how does this work? Creating a provider. There is on the admin panel, if you go to your admin panel here, actually probably want to start up the environment. Okay, let's see how we want to configure this one. We have GitHub, we have Google. Okay, so let's reload here. We don't have a user, or we don't have a super user created yet, so we will go ahead and do this quickly. We want to create a super user. This is the first time that I actually wrote fullcycledev correctly. Then I failed on the extension. Okay, we're logged in here now. We see somewhere social accounts. We hit up social account. I'm not sure if it's this one first or the other one first. No, social account is when a user creates an account. So we care about social applications. We go here, we have provider ID and things. We have to fill this one out correctly. And to do this, we go back to provider configuration. Use the Django admin to set up social app instances where you store your secret. Okay, so provider will be Discord. I hope this works like this, or maybe we have to capitalize this or something. Okay, so it appears that we can either use need to avoid configuring one and the same provider. Okay. So I would suggest we just go and we just experiment here a bit. We have our client ID, which is this one. The name is something that we can give on our own, so we will just call this Discord. For available sites, we will use the one that we created. I will copy paste the secret key here. So I will have to shut you guys out again. I will actually have to do the two-factor authentication. Okay, we can copy the client secret now, put it into the configuration setting and save. There was an error. Which error? Select a valid choice. Discord is not one of the available choices. Okay. Well, this is interesting. Let me see why Discord doesn't work. Let me let you guys back in. Show you the issue. I have set Discord as a provider, and I want to save this, and it says Discord is not one of the available choices, which is very interesting, and I have no idea why this doesn't work. I'll just have to reset my secret because I just leaked. So, why can't we put Discord here? It's not a valid choice. Okay, let's see what valid choices are by exploring the source code. We have the external libraries here, and we have what we installed here. So in where is it? Site packages. I think there will be an all-out package. Very good. Now we will just have a look at their code and see why this doesn't work. So this is also added as a Discord as a Django app, right? As an app within Django, and we can have a look at the models, social account, and we will see models somewhere here. Yes, and so we will have social app model. This is a model. If you ever care, okay, see you animal. If you ever care about why something doesn't work, like for now, I have no idea why Discord does not work, right? Because what else should I put here instead of Discord? I even tried with a capital D or full caps, it doesn't work. So by exploring their code, I think we will be able to see something. Okay, so this is the provider field. So what's here is essentially what's translated into this one. We'll also see provider ID here, and the choices here are providers.registry as choices. We'll have a look at this registry, which will be loaded somewhere, and I hope we can find all the settings here. So an ordered dictionary. We have a provider map, which will be set somewhere, I think. Okay, apps.get app configs. Okay, we have to click through a lot of stuff here. Can we also just search this? Like, for example, search for Google here. We want to search in a certain directory, and this directory will be neither of those. Project files, we can hopefully put in external files here too. This is really annoying. Project files and libraries. Okay, this is good. What might be someone else but Google that's easier to find? Maybe we can actually search Discord. Is it called Discord.io? I hope it's not called. No, this is Discord. It's something else. Providers, Discord. The provider is called. It's called. See, the ID is Discord and the name is Discord. I have no idea why this doesn't work. Let's put in Google here. See if this works. Okay. Does anyone have an idea why Discord doesn't work here? Okay, this Do I really have to configure this first? The doc specified this in the earlier section and we did not have a look at this. Okay. So this would mean in base pi, if it's a search file, this would be very smart of you. Sadly, it's not. Yeah, Heusber Petter, this is correct, what you say. We actually have to add this here. Okay, very interesting to run into this error. This would sound like something I would have had in the past, but I'm not sure I had this before. Okay, now it worked. Let me regenerate my private key to not do something that that all of you know. So we reset the secret. I'll have to use my two-factor authentication again. We submit, I copy the secret, and I will make sure to leave the page so I don't accidentally show it again. Okay, so far so good. Perfect. The secret would have been here. We have configured Discord team. Now let's try something. If we now look at this into, there we go. If we now, I'm now in an incognito window, right? In an anonymous window without being logged in, because here I'm logged in as the admin, and here I'm not logged in. If I click sign in here, you will see it's not pretty, but you can see, please sign in using one of your third-party accounts, or sign up with an account. Sign in below. We have Discord here now. If we hit this one, it says sign in via Discord. Continue. You are redirected to Discord now. Now let's see if I can do this without leaking anything. I use my Discord app on my phone now to scan the QR code. Okay, perfect. So everything worked besides the redirect URL, which is fine because we didn't set the redirect URL. What it says here to have the callback to this. Otherwise, we would have to have this on our fully qualified domain name. So I'm not going to edit this one, but I can't let you look, of course. So we will use this for development purposes, and when we deploy it, we will have to set this one up too, and we're gonna have this be like this with an HTTPS. Okay. So BRB, I'm gonna edit the model instance. Wait, we don't have to put the redirect URL here, right? We have to put it somewhere else, because there is no field for this. I'm really rusty. I did not expect this. Okay, let's find out together how we do it. We need to put the development callback URL. Copy this one. I'm an idiot. Of course, it has to be done here. So somewhere here will be the callback. Maybe here. Must be. Okay. Okay, let's go with this. We save these changes. Why is this incorrect? Okay, it did not want us to specify the protocol, right? Or is it fine now? Are we cool? I think you think it has to be HTTPS. Okay, possible. Still says it's invalid. I mean, this is something we don't care about, right? Because this will be done by the application itself. Actually, let's check if it doesn't. Let's go and sign in. Let's go on Discord again. Let's see what it asks for. Login. Just wants the scope of the email. So select redirect URL. I can't select one because I wasn't able to. No, we don't care about this. We want to have the. Let's see if this worked anyway. No, I can't leave here. Okay, maybe it does want to see localhost here. Yeah. Nope. Let's remove the protocol. Well, okay. Now let's give it a try whether it really needs localhost or if this would work too. I'm being rate limited now. Okay. But I think this means localhost is still fine. Okay. Now that I'm being rate limited, I hope this still works though. Sign in, we continue. Pull up my phone again. Logging in. The redirect URL is invalid. What does it say? It says localhost. Very weird. Now I have a few other applications that I've created in the past. Let's see if I can use, if any of them matter here, or if any of them are useful. There are no redirects here. Let's see if I have any of them with redirects. I don't know what listener is, for example. Let's see. I see what you mean, but I didn't specify any here, so I think what Discord would do is, what Django would do if I'm on localhost here. Okay, I sign in, I hit Discord. It would pass the, it would pass the redirect URL anyway. See? Okay, let's give this a quick go and read over something here. Because usually I read the documentation. I thought I'm too smart for this. Now it's biting me in the ass. see if someone else had a problem like this. Okay, so they did something like this too. I'm honestly just looking for a quick pointer that would give me this aha moment where I clearly forgot something. But this did not help. Okay, weird. Maybe this made it valid. Oh, hang on. It's not gonna react up here. For this 8000. Sign in again. Let's make this bigger so maybe we can see the. Let's have a look. Or actually, maybe now would be the time to do the other config. But let's see what the redirect here is. Redirect says HTTP localhost accounts Discord login callback. Okay, this is still invalid. An option would be having HTTP here, I think. Okay, this has been accepted. Let's see if I'm a human. We need the lions. No lion. No more lions here. It's also one. Oh boy. I'm being rate limited to death. I have to start over. I can't add 127.0.0.1. This didn't work. Or maybe it works now. Let's give it a go then. What the fuck is happening now? Okay, maybe it doesn't like me being in an anonymous tab. Let's replace it with localhost. Maybe this makes any difference. Okay, I'm not sure if this is better or worse. I authorized this, and now I'm successfully signed in. So you tell me what the issue was. Was it maybe that I was not using localhost here? But actually, let's try this one. Let's, instead of localhost, put in this sign in. Let's see if this is different. Yeah, okay. So you have to be on the exact same protocol because it will send whatever is here as the call, because it will use request.buildFull URI. Now I understand why this doesn't work. I want to show you the documentation. Or it's called absolute URI, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's built apps. You get a request. The request will of course have the exact same URL that we sign in with. So it will start with this one. Then it will build the absolute URI, and this will always have the this will always have the exact domain it was on. If you just do it like this, and it will do it like this with the callback from here. So our issue was just failing this. But let's just go ahead here, copy this to what it will be later on. Once we deploy this, it will be full cycle. I think I ought to rename it to fullcycledevio. It will be this. Save this one here. So we will have this for our development purposes, and this once we have it deployed. I will rename this again, so I can show you that it does not accept it. And now it does accept it. I'm really at the loss. And now, since we are here, it will work again. Yes, now it works again. So this really has to match yours. And let's see if we can also do this on the zeros, on the on all the addresses. I could swear it didn't work before. Okay. So if you're attempting this yourself, it has to be HTTP and then actually whatever's in there. So I think I did type something in exactly like this, or at least the one I copied from here, from providers on Discord. I think I copied the exact same thing in, right? You guys were here when I copied this in and this did not work. I have no idea why. But yeah, it does work now. Okay, great. So now we are connected with Discord. What we can also see is in the admin, I need to log in again as an admin. Something that's new here is you will see social accounts, right? So this is my GitHub, my Discord, UUID. You can also find this if you have the development node on. Copy the user ID. And this is my mail address, and there's probably some extra data. Okay, well, now you know some more data about me. Okay, good. Now we have the login done. What else is now required? We need to create a bot now. Call this fullcycledevio bot. And we will have this bot join our Discord server. Then it can read everything that's in there. Nope, it does not require multiple. So what are the general permissions that the bot needs? I don't think it needs anything. Well, maybe it does need moderate members. I'm not sure who can fetch. How many members are there on its own? So, okay, let's see if this is enough. I see. We need to copy this into the how's it called, the invite URL, because we need to invite. We as admins need to invite the bot to the server. Let's see how we can add the bot. We don't care about this, we care about adding the bot to the server. It's really easy. We need a certain URL where we just put our stuff in. Okay, we will just abuse someone else's bot to add our own, if we're human. Let's use this one. It will have. Okay, this is something else. We use the first bot here, and now what we want to do is. There's probably a better way, but I don't know it. This is the permission integer that we care about. We're gonna put this in here. We have our ID somewhere. This is the client ID, or does the bot have a different ID? Maybe it's. I hope it's the same. Put this in here. Let's hit enter here. There we go. We want to have this bot. We can select a server we want to edit it to. This one we continue. It's allowed to moderate members. Yes, please. Let's hope I can pass this. I actually failed it. There was another line there. Yeah, I actually failed it, and it still let me go in. Let's be quick with your authorization token. Click into the center. Okay. Please work. Okay, great. So looking at our Discord server, we should have at the bot join. Is it here? Well, it's probably offline because it isn't powered by anything. Yes. ChatGPT would have passed, maybe. Okay, great. We have our bot here. Very good. So let's play around with the Discord API to actually do something with the bot. Actually, I just wanted to have the just have the bot. Wait, you can actually just get this without being authenticated. Okay. Well, this would make things significantly easier and mean I wasted a lot of time. So where are invites? Invites are here. Thanks to all the other peeps creating invites. I can't see the invite code because I'm in streamer mode. Let's disable streamer mode. Let's go to invites, copy one of the non-expiring. This one does not expire. Let's copy this one. Put it up here. Okay. Well, I guess we don't have to use our bot for this one then. It's great too. Easy peasy. Let's go to our task and actually get something going here. We are in the locals app and we want to fetch stuff, right? We can do this in a helper task and in a helper file or not. I personally like to do this in a helper file or selectors or service, whatever you want. We're gonna call this get Discord member count. This is not very optimistic. It wants us to return 0. But it's rather easy. We want to do requests, because we don't need any authentication. We can just go with requests. Then we have the URL, which is what we copy here. Of course I want to save this somewhere. Okay. And let's just print the JSON response and see how far we can go. Within tasks, we of course now want to call this one. We want to register this as a task also. How do we register this as a task? This way internally, and we can also call these tasks from the admin. The way we do this, we go to the base Pi. We don't have a schedule probably yet. We do this the same way we did last time. So let's actually go over to our other repository that we did last time. Here, we go to a certain file, which is also a tasks Pi in billing. Perfect. Oh, never mind. We actually want to do the base. We have the base config. We go here to schedule, right? Salary beat schedule. We copy this one. Put in the schedule here. We give it a name, and this is completely optional. The name doesn't really matter too much, but I'm going to use the same one. Let's call this get social stats. Here we need to how's it called? Social stats. That's perfect. That's actually the correct path. And on a schedule we can do this every 60 seconds. Okay, works fine for now. We will probably do this once a day or twice a day later on. Okay, let's restart the server to have this task registered. Go back to the admin. Here it will say periodic tasks. Very good, we have it here. We can tick it and then run it. There we go. We have some information here. This is what was printed. And yes, we have the approximate member count. So there are 362 members with 51 online. So this is great. So let's just return this. In our helper function, we have the return. Not sure if this is correct, but we will check. This is a top level response. Perfect. So we will have Discord as an integer will be the response from this function, and we can actually also let's create one of the stats, right? Why not? Well, we create them. We will only be setting in the Discord information. But it's not called this. Why is this? Why are you underlined? Why is this underlined? No idea. But we want to have Discord members. And want to do this like this. Maybe it didn't register the way that I imported it. Okay, just wants to be pissed, I guess. Let's go back to our periodic tasks. Run this, see if it works or failed. It has been successfully run. What we did not do yet is register this in the admin site. So we want to do admin. What? This not. Admin site. What's happening here? That happens when you have too many plugins, I guess. Register social stats. Great. Import social stats. Still squiggly. Maybe because we have not run the migrations yet. This could be very much possible. So we make migrations, add this to the database schema. Run it up. Oh, it's still pissed at us. Okay. We have our social stats here. Okay. Run this one again. Successfully run. We have one object here, and we have our Discord members. Okay, great. So far so good. Let's go ahead and do our Twitch followers. Maybe we can do this without any authentication too. Actually, one of you mentioned ChatGPT. Let's ask ChatGPT how we would do this. I will have to hide my previous prompts though. Can I delete all my previous chats somewhere? Yeah, okay, I have to do this one by one. BRB, there aren't that many here. I can just close sidebar. Okay, this would have been nice to know. Close sidebar. Okay, you learn something every day. So it seems we require authentication, right? But it's just a client ID and a channel ID. I don't think this is correct because there is no way of authentication, and if this is enough, if the client ID is enough, then it will probably be a secret, not an ID. I just wanted the link to the developer portal, honestly. I want to click. Let's create an extension. This is me. Do I have to enable 2FA here? Okay. Well, guys, be right back. I, of course, can't have you see my 2FA stuff. Oh wait, this is with the mobile phone number. Interesting, okay. I think I verified my phone already. It won't have. Am I still online? Okay, I can't edit it. I have no idea why, but I can't. I also seem to have lost all my Twitch login. Am I even still live? Okay, I am still live. Interesting. I can't do this without having to relog everything. So I'm super sorry. But we need to do something else before. But actually, I can also do all of these really quickly offline, or off stream, I want to say. So would you care about doing something different before? Like something completely different that's not with the social scraping? Is there anything that you might care? Or we can also talk about anything. I still have 1 more hour. Man, this really is tough to do on stream, because I constantly have to think about not showing anything that I'm not allowed to. Now I get it why people don't do this. I don't do this much. I would honestly not be surprised if the stream would die any second now. Let's see if we have anything here that we wanted to do. I know how Substack works already, because I couldn't help myself but do it yesterday, or try stuff out yesterday. We did Discord. We know how to do Substack. I mean, I can actually create all the things for Substack, but I would just not marry it with my credentials. I got a notification that our pull request was answered. Okay, so the original author thanked us for adding this, and yeah, has pushed this into, and there has been a new publication 30 minutes ago, which means that our stuff is now in there too, which is super nice. Honestly, this is my first public contribution. Let's see if it's updated on PyP2. Yeah, so we could actually just use this package that we contributed to, or we can do it on our own. It doesn't really matter, because it's not much that has been done right here. But why not use something that we actually were part of creating, albeit not very much. We do the same again here. We put this into our base txt file. We restart the server with the build flag. This one. So this will download this will recheck and download all the necessary dependencies. Okay, we will have our helpers file to get Substack subscriber count. Please do what I want. Subscriber count. Oh, never mind. We do this here. We will go into the local file, put I mean, there's two different ways we can go about this, right? We can either use our dot files, our end files, and load it via settings, or we could actually just do site-wide settings with a singleton model, which might also be very interesting. And I think we are going to do this because we haven't done this before. So let's go into our socials, and here call this social configs or access credentials. We pass here because what I want to do is create a singleton model for you. And a singleton model is something where there is one class can only have ever one instance, right? And let's check on this one that I would like to. This is a good implementation. So what it does, it also does the abstract model, which is pretty much the same as we did with our base model here. But the big benefit is here. Whenever you save this model, it deletes all others but itself. And then this probably wouldn't be necessary. But this is what's interesting, right? So if you execute the load class method, you will always get the. Actually, I don't like this implementation much. I would actually like to have this with the. Okay, yeah, this works too. Let's go with this one. We put this into our utils files, and we'll talk about it more, and we will probably simplify this a bit. So we don't need the very obvious comments here. And what it does here, the way we would call this, is of course we do this. We make this the predecessor from the other one. So instead of base model, this will be inheriting singleton model. And what we care about here is Substack email. We have Substack password, publication URL. Is there anything else we will need? No, this is all it. Great. So we will make the migrations for this one, and let's have a look here what this does. As I already said, I mean, save. The difference is this is fine, but the save method will not be called if you put this on the query manager, right? So if you I'm offline. Why? Is there anything missing here? Probably just failed to have it working. This is fine. This is an error here. So we're just gonna do it like this. If we have an obvious syntax error like this, Django will not let us start. I did not want to build. Okay. If we delete it here, that's fine, but because this is just one model and it will call the delete and the save method. But if we, for example, do it like this and delete all of them, the model specific save or delete will not be changed, right? So if we also do something like where we grab where we call update on a query set, we would also not have this executed. But if we use it correctly, meaning we don't try to do this any other way or use it any other way than it intended, we should be good to go. We have our singleton model here as a base, which is an abstract only, which this of course means that we cannot instantiate singleton model, we can only instantiate descendants. Here we have our social config, which inherits from the singleton model. And I think this might be, we could be good to go. Let's make migrations. Change the database schema. Fire it back up. where is the admin from socials? We of course also want to add social config, I think. Alright, so this is not underlined, but this is underlined. So it should have the config here, and here we create one. So the thing is, I have to put in something here. Oh, this needs to be a URL. We can make this the correct one. Okay. So if we want to change this now, you see, the old one was deleted. And there's two ways we could go about this. We could either delete the old one and make it and create a new one, which would also ensure that we only have one of them, or we could also change prior to saving, change the primary key to the first one. It doesn't really matter. But this is this is a different implementation than I would have done myself. Okay, inside the helpers, we would load the config here. Okay, and here we would have publication URL, please. 2. Okay, and then we would have return get subscriber count. Is this inside the API? Let's have a look at. This has not been indexed, which is very unfortunate. But we are gonna have a look at the examples that we wrote ourselves. This one. We said it would be api.get publication subscriber count. Perfect, so this should work. Now this will be, we of course need Substack here. Is it called Substack subscribers? That's the way it's called. Okay, great. This won't work if we execute it now, because this is obviously a wrong configuration. But once the stream is done, I will deploy all of this, and we can start building. Okay, great. Next up will be one of the tougher ones, right? So we have Discord and we have Substack. Did we fail with anyone? We failed with Twitch because I would have to completely re-authenticate, which is something I sadly can't do. Or can't do on stream because the stream would end. For Twitter, I will need to do some research, but I also need to log into the Twitter developer portal, which instantly shows you all the keys. And for Google, we created the application. It should be good to go with this. But I would suggest I do all of these things quickly off stream, and on Friday next stream we will go over all the things that we did. Let's do some more code quality assurance here. If you have been looking through all of the files here, you will notice there is a pre-commit config. So what pre-commit does, it runs if you actually install the hook before every commit into the repository. What does this mean, or what does it do? Well, you can decide what it does, right? So there are a lot of different hooks that are here on by default, which is it checks whether there is a trailing white space somewhere. Like for example, if I would have a white space here, this will be checked for this. A lot of fixes and stuff. You can of course put here everything that you care about. For simplicity's sake, let's just go with what's here, and I'll show you how this works. Okay, we saw here the error for Substack API exception, because we were unable to sign in. Well, of course, the email was not correct. What we run here is we pre-commit run in the directory where also this pre-commit config file is. We say we don't want to exclude any files. We run this for all files, and let's just see what happens. First off, the first time we're running, it will initialize everything. What the heck is happening? Oh, I don't have pre-commit installed, I think. Yeah. Okay. You of course first have to install the pre-commit Python package. Oh, I thought there was another unexpected error where I had absolutely no idea. Grüße aus Wien. Manko, hi. How long do you already work with Django? I worked with Django for 4 years, I think. Been building some pretty big stuff with it too. Thanks for the follow, by the way. Chatney, thank you for the follow. If there's any question or want to collaborate, actually, if you're in Vienna, and if you're down to meet up, chat about stuff, I'm always happy for this. I'm currently sitting at Praterstern at the co-working. So if you want to grab a coffee for something, maybe chat about stuff, I'm super happy. Maybe I actually get to know what you're doing. Maybe this is compatible. Maybe we can do something together. So let's go over this output here. So what it does is, it depends, right? I can't go into detail. I don't want to go into detail for every of the hooks here, and maybe not. Actually, we are gonna remove one of them, right? But some of them fix stuff, so they actually make changes in the code base, and some of them only say it's bad. And let's look at what each of them does. Say here, this is failing, trim trailing whitespace. I mean, fail doesn't mean it's bad, but what it did is it fixed stuff for us. See, it did change these things because they had trailing whitespace. These are purely from the main repository. So from the generated code base, and I told you this is how can this happen, that this is without us doing anything else? Well, it was actually because we had our different projects, like, right? We named our project fullcycledevio, and inside the template there's this huge expression with the curly braces. And of course, if we do stuff differently, it will also be shorter or longer. There are a few things that have passed. There was something in dev container which was not, wasn't able to decode. We are not using dev containers anyway, so I'm not going to bother about checking this and delete them. You might use dev containers if you're inside VS Code. It rewrote production py for Django upgrade. I'm very interested what this does. I have no idea. This must be a new hook. But we can have a look at what this actually does, right? Which was with Django upgrade. We are Django upgrade here. Have a look at this this repository, this hook. What does it do? We can have a look at the file here and see what actually has been modified here. So this is the new version. This is the old one. What has changed? So for the static, okay, it just reformatted this into a different syntax. Which, if it doesn't work, no, why it doesn't. Okay. So maybe the other syntax has been deprecated, and since we're using Django 4.2, this might be something new. Yeah, pre-commit fixes stuff, and depending on how you configure it, it will also prevent you from pushing. or even making the commits. The goal of this, of course, is if there's multiple people working on the project, you would want to ensure some kind of format that everyone is following. And this is one way of doing so. This is what I really don't like: the linting inside the HTML files. Because I think this is so much up for preference. Like, if you want to have it like this, it's fine. You don't have to have it like this. I really don't see much benefit in changing this. But if you run this a second time, you will see that there's significantly less or fewer output. In fact, everything has been passed now, because all of these things have also been fixed by them, by all the plugins. There are apparently no JSON files now because we deleted dev containers. We don't have any XML file. Fine. So this is great. So what we did is good. Something else that I like is actually running MyPy for full cycle dev. Let's see if there are any errors that we can talk about. Yeah, I'm really interested in what Django 5 is going to bring us, because from what I've seen, there's no really good async support yet, right? So you still have to sync to for database access. Okay, let's have a look at what's happening. Okay. So this is called password, and it doesn't like to be no, never mind. Oh, okay. Oof, okay. I don't see this is any issue. If there's anything happen when you don't want this to be amplified, you can to be executed, you can do no QA on the end. And let's see if we have to do this by line, or if this is fine. If we have this there. We remove this. The problem is with user that the user model is often just loaded during runtime, because you see stuff like get user model, get auth model, and this is just static checking where it doesn't enforce this. Let's see if we can actually no QA this, or type ignore. Is type ignore? Yes, of course we're type checking. Let's see if we can put this on the entire class, because we didn't change anything for this, and we actually want to check our own code here. This is a really bad showcase, and I'm sorry, because this is all from stuff that we didn't touch, right? You can also have a decorator which would exclude all these files. But let's see if there's anything that we did. Okay, there are no types installed for requests. Okay, let's rerun this once we actually added more functionality to the website. But for pre-commit, things are looking good. I'm actually going to commit most of these things to the repository, but we're going to do a different branch. Let's make a new branch. Call this feature social stats. Let's create this branch. Added social stats scraping. Let's call it fetching. It wasn't really scraping. For Discord and Substack, adds Discord social login. Okay, let's commit and push this. We go back to this repository. See, there's a new branch here. Feature social stats. And this one had pushed less than 1 minute ago. This is what we just did. And I have to do some client work after this stream. But maybe I have some time tomorrow to finish up all these, all the additional scraping stuff, because I know how to do Twitch pretty shortly after I created the client. Getting YouTube shouldn't be too hard. Maybe there's something else that we else can. Why did you create a new branch instead of just committing and pushing? Because this is clearly a working in progress. We don't have all of the. Let's look about the commit that we added. We did a Discord, which is fine. This is feature complete. It's not looking pretty, but it is working. But this one is also fine. This works. But this, where is the other one? This one is incomplete. We don't have all the other social stats now. We don't have YouTube and Twitch and Twitter finished now. And I don't want to have anything on the main branch that's not ready to be deployed. Because as per the last stream, we did deployment automatically on merge onto master, which is what we're going to set up for this repository too. And anything that comes onto the master branch needs to be working. In fact, this does. This will also work as soon as we have the API configs added into the database, but it's just not complete. Yes, these pre-commits come with cookie cutter too. This is really great. Yeah, not seeing much for async yet. Yeah, I think the first time this was announced, the first release candidate for 5.0 or the first alpha, this was a bit of a bummer. There were no great changes to async, which I think Django could really benefit from. Things that you see here are all these automatically changed things from pre-commit. Yeah, Substack is something we added. We can quickly dive into the Python Substack too, because I was looking at it yesterday when I made the pull request, which has now been accepted. Let's see how this works, because this is really interesting, and we wouldn't have had to install this entire package. So the API itself is is also using requests, and it uses request sessions. We can quickly talk about what sessions does, because if you're ever working with a bigger API and you will have to create your own API wrapper, you will want to use sessions and just put the pass the instance between your business logic. Because usually every time you create or instantiate the API, it will be re-authenticating itself. And you can really avoid a lot of calls if you just create a session. I think they do it too. Yeah, they also create a session here, which means you don't have to authenticate yourself every time. So the time when the API is initiated, it doesn't inherit anything. There's probably some API base that you could have inherited from. It sets a lot of internal values. Makes sense, of course. Base URL and the publication URL, and we're using the version 1 API here. The Substack API is not meant for public consummation, but for whatever reason you are still able to authenticate with this. The way it's logging in is super simple. It's the way you would log in on the website. It's really interesting. You don't push any capture response, because if you were to log in on Substack on your own, you would usually always have to create a two-factor verification there. for what reason you don't have to do it here, and this works. I tested it yesterday. It really worked, which is super interesting for me. Just put your email, you put your password there, and it's fine. And then you get a response, which will then be handled by this response handler. And the login is the login function. The login function will be called somewhere. Where will this be called? Here. It will log in. And then you have all of these things inside the session, which is great. Then every time you call something else, for example, publication users, you use this session to fetch this, right? Or when you get your subscriber counts, this is what I added yesterday. You have a different URL where you fetch this, and then you return the subscriber count. And here let's also look at the examples how they do it. Let's look about published post. This is a bit more elaborate than getting the subscriber count. They also created their own post class here, where you could actually put in paragraphs and stuff. This is intended on automatically publishing to Substack, which I think is pretty great. On the other hand, getting subscriber count is rather boring, I want to say. You have the authenticated API with the created session, and then you can just call whatever stuff you want here. But this is the only point where you're logged in, right? So if you were to log in for every account, every count request, you would of course probably get rate limited too. The way I did get rate limited when using Discord before. Okay, so what are we going to do next? We're going to deploy it. I'm going to deploy this on a web server. There won't be much stuff to do to be on there. But if you want to actually get involved in creating the community website together, I would be very happy. You're very welcome to create an issue, talk about an issue, and then assign it to yourself, and I can assign it to yourself, so you can work on something. If you ever wanted to work on open source in any kind of way, you're very welcome to do so. This might actually have been the first chance you've gotten, and anyone who wants to make a contribution, however small or however big, is very welcome. And maybe we can get 1 or 2 going until Friday, and then actually review the request. I'm also more than happy if anyone wants to come up with a design or at least an idea, because I can create a design with someone if someone tells me what they want to see, but I'm super not creative. So if you're not bad at web designing, or at least good at having ideas, go ahead. Either put them into the stream suggestions here, or even better, let's do it on GitHub. Create a new issue here. Say what you care about, or your or anything that you would want to do. If you either want to have this done by me and want to watch me do it, or maybe you even want to create it yourself and then review the changes together. This could be a good learning experience for the both of us. Let's go with this. I see there was something in how do I do this. Maybe I can answer this here. Okay, there was another problem with there's a lot happening. Hot reload doesn't work for you. Has this been answered already? It hasn't been. So what OS are you on? Because there might be something problematic with iNotify, because iNotify is used to hot reload. What hot reloading does is every time there are changes to your code base, the web server is refreshed, so the changes are of course displayed. And there's two major ways of accomplishing this. There can either be a watchdog that looks at all the timestamps when all of the files have been saved the last time, and if anything has changed. then it refreshes. And the other one is what iNotify does. It actually, when there's a change, it notifies the web server so it doesn't have to crawl or the watchdog has to look at it all the time. Maybe there's some issue with your. I had one problem with one certain OS version of Mac. Maybe this is a problem for you too. Great, you're finding this exciting. Yeah, we don't have a settings py file or the classical settings py file. We only have our base local and production file, and it has in the overall config, it says that the settings path is here. I want to safely update the domain. Has this been answered for you?
То есть, короче, если сам проект закончился, то он в архив и он пропадет.
What you can do, changing the domain is twofold, right? You control F everything that you. Hang on, I'm not good at typing and talking. All right. So what it entails to change this is, you of course, let's do what I just said on Discord. You have a look for whatever domain you entered, and see where it makes sense to change, right? So there's not a lot of stuff here. What it does is there's, of course, there's an email, but this is in the traffic YAML file. We're going to look at this later because that's really important. So for the allowed hosts, I need to change production settings now before deploying because I leaked it again. Traffic later, admins. This is important because if you put stuff on admin and if you're not using Sentry, and whenever there is a 500 error code, it will send you an email to whatever's put in admin, and also to whatever's put in managers. So you can actually remove managers. So only this way you would get 2 mails per error, one because you're a manager and one because you're an admin. So I would suggest removing yourself from one of them. The allowed hosts, okay, it's great, fine. This is what we just leaked from the environment file. The default is the sending mail, so this is where you would send from. When configuring your email, you probably update this in your environment file, in your .production file. Here I mean, you can change this. This is a migration, by the way. So if you change this migration before you applied it to your web server, or before you restart the server and migrate it, it's fine. Otherwise, I would suggest you go back into your admin panel. This is something that you don't have to change before restarting. But I, of course, need to restart this. Because this was for the site setting, and site settings is relevant for for redirect URLs and for a lot of stuff more. If you hit here, this will be the one under what you created the site, right? You click on this one, you change this domain name to what your domain name will be, and then you will be fine. This needs to be done in the database via the admin. You can't do this just on the code side. Let's look again. What's more? Yeah, this is just comments. Doesn't matter. Let's look into traffic, because if you're seeing here for the compose, you have on your production, you will have traffic with both the Docker file and the YAML file. We have been looking into this last stream because it serves all the entry points. Let's quickly go over what I mean by this. By serving all the entry points, if we have our local file here, we see there's ports exposed for Django. There's ports for mail. Well, we don't have mailpit in production, but Redis, Django, everything has ports exposed here. On production, it doesn't. Nope, no exposed ports for Django, nothing for Postgre, nothing for any of these salaries, and nothing for Redis, but all of them on traffic. And this is because traffic is the reverse proxy, and this will be the first instance where one request comes to. And of course, this also handles the Let's Encrypt certificate. And after you first start this for production, it will create an SSL certificate for you. And it will do so by using the ACME free SSL Let's Encrypt. And there is an email that you will that you probably should put there, because you will also get notifications if there is an issue with any certificate, and how to fix it. And of course, once you created one of these certificates and decide to kill the server later on, you will get a notification that it's expiring, which will be fine if you don't plan to put on to power on the server on again. Here you will have to update your URL, because this is what the SSL certificate is being created for. Same as here, and I think that's it. Yeah. So any other questions that I might be able to answer before I look at chat again? There's a syntax issue. Okay, this is what has been answered below. Okay, this is a good example with the environment file.
Я тебя понимаю, да, очень классно, да, согласен. Ничего, нормально.
Well, we could use Tabler for the style. Some specific applications pattern there. You will pop in a suggestion. No idea what Tabler is. Okay, sounds good. Is this a template? Sounds great. Yeah, that means if we want to get something going, or if we want to work together on this, I would be very happy. I would also be very happy for content suggestions, what we actually put on there. You like my existing... What do you mean? You like this, the way this looks? Because I don't. For frontend, what do you usually use? I use the Django templating engine only. I don't like to use front-end frameworks, and I can gladly talk about why. Usually when I create a software product that I want to sell to a customer, I am the one doing it from birth to death. I create the specifications with them, and then I create everything and host and deploy everything myself, which is why you can usually charge a lot more than you would usually think. Actually, let's also make this into one of the lessons on pricing, how you price something. Because this was one of the questions before, and we might actually use this as a clip somewhere else, so I might make sure that the cam looks all right. Let's go into this intermission setting where my face is a bit bigger. And if you have any questions for chat, you type them over there, and we can get them going. Okay, so the way you price, or why you can actually ask for a bigger margin or bigger pay on whatever you do is there's a lot of different reasons. The thing is, if you would, for example, if you are the client and you need something done to, for example, handle your in-house billing, there's stuff coming in. For example, there are some invoices coming in. You actually, for example, you're in the property rental business, and you have your bookings. People stay in one of your flats. And the flats are not owned by you, but you manage them for someone else, right? You would have a lot of information there. And this needs to be processed because everyone needs to be billed, or everyone needs to get their money from. And they actually have a problem, and the problem costs them a lot of time. This is a real world example. One of my customers, they had some task where two of their employees would work on this for 2 weeks, for 2 work weeks, every every month. Sorry. So the first 2 weeks, which is 10 days, 10 work days each for each of them, meaning 20 days per month are just being worked on this really repetitive task that my software was meant to replace. And I was fine and said, yes, I can do this, we can do this, it's not a big problem. Then they asked me how much I would charge them for them. And then you have a lot of different options how to answer. You can either make this a flat amount of money, or you could make it for free, but force them to pay you something monthly. Or what I like to do is do the hybrid. I charge a setup fee, which is an estimate on how many hours it would take me to create, with a bit of a buffer for more if there are any issues. And then I will also charge for a monthly licensing fee. And this is where it becomes a bit more interesting, because the monthly licensing fee is you have created a product tailor-made for them. It's really hard for them to change to another of your competitors, because there are no competitors that actually have this product. You have this product created for them, and there is no real direct competition. Of course, someone else could make the same, but they would actually have to make the same. They don't have it on hand. The difference is, for example, on Spotify. You have Spotify yourself. You have Spotify, right? Or you have created Spotify. Who is a customer? Pretty much everyone with any sort of device is a customer. If you're Apple Music or Tidal or whatever exists, you're directly competing with pretty much everyone, for everyone on the world, because they're all customers. And of course, it's easier because it's a more generic product. But what you made is tailor-made. It's only for them, right? It's for them, and there is nothing like it. So how do you price it? You won't be charging €5 per month. You actually have a look at how much it saves them, and then you take a percentage of this one, for example. This makes it also easier to argue when you're talking to them. So let's say they have 20 work days, which is pretty much. So let's say one of their employees works 1 month, and they're paid for 1 month. For 1 month, they're paid, let's say, you could say 500 to 1,000 per day. But what you could also do is that one employee is paid, let's say, €3,000 per month, and half of the time where they are employed, he or she will, or whatever gender, they cost you like $1,500. Okay, but person might also get sick, person might make mistakes. The computer program always runs and always behaves the same. So if you are charging them €1,000 per month, they actually still have it's significantly cheaper for them than having to have a human there. And you might even be able to charge them more than $1,500, because there's a lot of different arguments for using this product. It's not just that it doesn't make much mistakes. Mistakes are super expensive, and it doesn't get sick, right? And it's not on vacation. Depending on where you are, your employees might have a lot of vacation days or none. It depends on your location. But what's also different is hiring people, also dependent on your market, but hiring people that really know or get to know what's happening inside the company is not easy, right? So if 2 of their employees are, for example, pretty much without any of the boring repetitive stuff that you have to do, you have a lot. You have 20 days per month more of manpower that you can use for something else, and you would not fire this. None of my clients has fired any of their employees, even though I made, for example, one entire department obsolete. All of them have been put into more interesting positions where they actually help grow the company, and not just do all the same meaningless repetitive tasks. And this is also a big thing for the mood of the employees. They don't like to play around with the Excel files for 2 weeks straight. This is super boring. But if they actually have to do something that's different, have a variety in the working day. This is something that you can also sell, but you have to argue for this. Yeah, I might be able to charge 2K, and in fact, I was able to charge this this client close to 2K.
Воно зараз показує тільки те, що
The company has been sold since, and
три задачі.
um,
Один і другий.
has been put into bankruptcy, but it was not my fault.
Просто
So I don't have this exact client that I was talking about anymore. But it was really great because well, there was still human interaction, right? So the software that I developed pretty much automated everything, but I wanted to have this 4i system. Yes, well, it's not my office; it's a co-working space, and I'm sitting here. Yeah. But on Friday I will be at home again. So what I was saying is the 20 work days that have been required to do this task every month have been put down to 1/2. So half a day for one person. So this is a factor 40 of human interaction that wasn't necessary anymore. This is great. On Friday I will, yes, I mean all of these streams will be, if we program stuff, it will probably be with Django, or maybe we do some open source contributions, like the super tiny one that I did yesterday. But if anytime we're doing some coding, will probably be in Django. Or we can, I mean, I'm not sure if you guys are interested in this, but we can also have a look at some new libraries, or maybe even test out Django 5, see what's happening, try some async stuff. Sure, we could also do this. But the next goal I probably think will be getting the community webpage going, where we did a teeny tiny bit today. Yeah, so where were we before I had this little excursus? Yeah, we were looking at some Discord thingies. Let's go back to live, I think. See if there was anything in the tabs that was running. Yeah. So the admin suggested we would use Tabler. I'm fine with this. Actually, I think I'll keep using this scene because it will have the questions on screen, because every time I switch to them, the chat is empty again. Do you send them the code and set it up for them one time, or do you manage everything? Yes, I manage everything. This is really great because I always keep control and total ownership of the code, which also means that they can't easily replace me, because I still own the code and they pretty much just buy a license, a monthly fee to be able to use it. You're setting up your quick start. Yeah, it doesn't have to be today or this instant. It's all good. Yeah, I don't get paid. Yes, it's not a salary technically, but it's a licensing fee. Because whenever there's any changes made, or if they want any new, say, features, we have a section in the contract which says how much this will cost to create. So there will be this monthly base income from the licenses, and there's also this service-based income when they want to have anything done, or any actual additional work that I have to do. But if I don't have to do anything for the customer per month, then yeah, it's reduced to this licensing fee. Yeah, once you get a few customers going, it's not that bad. How do employers find you? I'm not on any freelancing website, because I don't call what I do freelancing, because I don't really sell my time. I want to sell products, and I can tell you the story of how I got my first few customers, if this is something that interests you. And from then it was just a role on its own. So if you I guess I'll just keep talking about this. Yep. where are we? If some client has the same or close to the same problem, you already have the template. Well, good thinking. This is exactly what I was doing. And it makes a lot of sense. Some of my products also do have a public facing website. So I'm actually getting a request from there. But you will also need to be aware that you will not have a million customers like Snapchat or users like Snapchat does or something, because these are usually tailor-made products, and you will also always have to host them again for the customers, for all the customers. But if you are looking to find such people, well, we had a discussion on Discord this week where we were saying, yeah, the silver bullet is always networking, and honestly, you need to have a way to find other people. And how do you get it? Well, you have to talk to people, or have someone else talk on your behalf. But I would suggest you just, that's the same everyone says, and I was very skeptical the first time I heard it and thought it was full of bullshit. So I will give you some concrete examples here. If you want to find someone to sell such a product, what's the type of person you want to find? Well, you want to find someone that actually has some decision making inside a company. So you don't want to find maybe you want a salesperson of them, or you don't want to talk to a developer. You want to talk to someone on the higher ups. So if these higher ups are CEO of a multi-million euro company, they are probably not at events or places where you are. So the usual customers or prospects, I want to say, are most of my clients fit into the same bracket. I have the smallest ones are it's a company with 3 people. There's only 3 people. They have automated a lot of stuff that others would actually hire people for, so they're rather lean, which is super nice. And the other one has 300 customers. They also manage over 10,000 rental units. So they are, or 6,000? At least 6,000 rental units. So they are rather big. But the other of them are usually 5 to 10 people employed in the company. Since it's a rather small company then by headcount, you would be able to talk to their CEO or the COO or anyone that actually makes the big decisions. You're able to talk to them, and the way you want to talk to them is different. It really depends. But what I can say, what always applies is, you want to talk to people that are outside the tech bubble. So I have a lot of friends, obviously, also people that I went to university with, that are, I want to say, somewhat similar to me, and I can't sell them anything, right? Because it doesn't matter if I'm better or worse at developing code. They are not people that want anything like this. You need to find your niche, and that depends on every field how you do this. I give you a suggestion. Most of my customers are in the rental business, either long or short-term rental, and they mostly have been working with Excel sheets for a lot of things to basically build all their operations on. They have, let's say, let's give you an example of one product that I'm selling for short-term rental agencies. A short-term rental agency is a company that does not own any real estate, but their customers do. So what they do is they give their customer the option to manage their flat or their house or whatever real estate they have for a cut. So if I, for example, have a flat in Vienna here that I want to make money with, but I don't want to rent out for years, I would give them the keys to my flat and sign a contract. They would then put these flat on Airbnb, on Booking.com, and whatever else they have, and they would manage the entire flow of their customers. So everyone who wants to get to anyone that rents something, they handle it. I don't see anything but money on the end. And of course, their business model is they're taking a cut. They are taking a cut from whatever money they are making with your flat. And that's okay. But this is fine, but interesting from my perspective as a not as their potential customer, but as someone creating software is, you can fetch. Yeah, I'm telling you a bit of a trade secret here, but it's really not that complex. You could fetch data from Booking.com, from Airbnb, from whatever, and have all the bookings. Same for the listings, the real estate properties. And then, for example, make an automated report at the end of each month, how many bookings were for each, how many revenue has been generated, and how much do you get, or how much they get. And this is something that they would have had to deal with in the past with Excel sheets. And if I hear some company, some bigger company, ideally a company with a bit of money that doesn't want to negotiate on everything, and I hear they're using Excel sheets, I am very, very eager to strike up a conversation. Because, of course, it depends on how you want to sell this. I can talk about a lot of stuff that I did with similar customers in the past, and this is usually an opener that they actually at least listen to me. If you have created something else, but maybe not sold to a customer, this would also maybe be enough. Okay? So maybe give this a go. But in the end, it depends on how much. If you find something that you can create, yeah, you say you create X product or X type of product, and then you're talking to people outside the tech bubble. You're talking to maybe a carpenter, anyone that's not too much involved with technology, and they might find interesting what you're doing, and you might also find interesting how they actually create a beautiful table, right? So if you would now find someone else that needs a beautiful table, you can recommend the person you've been talking to, right? Same goes for the other side. If they talk to anyone else, maybe maybe a friend of theirs has a bigger, not too big of a company, because if the company is too big, there's huge enterprise solutions, and you want to be below these enterprise solutions. They have, for example, 10 employees, and they are managing their contracts with customers where they build, for example, furniture for them. This is all done by email. This is all done on paper, for example. Maybe you are now there and say, I can do all of this management stuff, all of this contract and project management stuff inside an app, which is tailored for you, so it works whatever you want. We're gonna sit on a table, we'll talk about what you need, and then I'm gonna create it for you, or I'm gonna create it at your site. I've also been sitting in the office of clients for a long time, where I actually developed stuff where they would sit on the same table. That's super fine. They really appreciate it because they actually see you're putting in the work, and if there's any question, they can instantly answer you. And you also, while you're creating something, you might see, all right, so I'm writing this for this project management stuff. How do you track the employee working time? Do you have anything for this? Do you have this on like a trust basis? Do you have any product that you're using where they have to actually punch a card or something? Or if they don't have anything? Or maybe this is not the best example, but I give you another real example. What has been an issue for one of my clients is they are also in the real estate business, and they have to do checks of all the properties. And this has also been done on paper. They would go with a clipboard with a huge pile of paper, and they would go from apartment to apartment, do some predefined checks. And this was a horrible overhead that they had, because not all checks are to be done every day. They sometimes depend on check-in or check-out date of customers or guests. And a product that I integrated into, I mean, if you're using Django for this, and if you're using the approach that I'm showing you, you can easily extend this for another functionality. And while I've been doing some billing stuff for them, and now I was also doing all these checks because I was able to fetch all the check-ins and check-outs from their property management system, and I was able to schedule these checks, these now digital checks, based on the customer data that has been coming in. So if you are checking out on next Friday, I'm scheduling a check on next Saturday, for example. The customer says when day has to be scheduled. But I'm scheduling a check for next Saturday on the morning that you have to check that there has been no damage, for example. You see, these are things that you can also upsell them. And what's super, super important is, like, if you're in a room with other people, there's usually people that are talking a lot and some people that are listening. And if you're in a party, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You do what you're happy with. But whenever you're somewhere where potential business contacts are, it is always best to first listen a lot. Try to find everything out about their business when they are talking, and maybe they are talking to each other. You're not even part of the conversation, but you overhear them saying, yeah, we had to do our billing again, our quarterly billing is due, and this is super tedious. X person has to work all month on this. Later on, you get to them, you said you overheard them talk about their issue with the billing. Is there anything that you might be able to do to help? Because in the past you have been creating billing projects, or have been created, you have created something similar. You see where I'm going with this? This is how you might be able to think, to strike up a conversation. And you might lose your first prospect. I lost a lot of prospects, but I also captured a few. And now things have been going super smoothly because I've been recommended from one customer to the other, and I actually have to reject some of the proposals that I'm getting, or have to refer them to someone else. This is also if you know someone who can do something better than you, or you can't do it on your own anyway, and you know someone who can, maybe you strike up a kind of real life referral deal with them. I have someone who creates mobile apps, for example. I did create mobile apps myself in the past, but I'm not too great, honestly, on doing that. And this person was. So I referred that customer to them, and it was a super tiny loyalty app. It wasn't super tough to create, but I knew that I would not enjoy doing it. And referring them to one of my friends allowed them to get a 10% cut of the entire volume, and all I did was write a few emails and make a call. But it's also only possible if you have a network, right? So you want to be connected to as many people as possible that do stuff that's different from you. If you're the same as you're creating Django applications for customers, then yeah, connecting us is fine. But the problem is unless we learn from each other, or maybe join something, we both will never sell to each other, right? So if we want to make money, we can't make it off each other. Unless you are that much better than I am and I'm willing to pay you to show me. Possible. But then we are not in the same bracket. So this was a bit of a trip down memory lane here. Do you guys have any more questions? Because otherwise I would be ending the stream today. We have 2 hours 45 minutes for now. So if there's anything you would want to ask, or have maybe some shared experience from myself, or want to share your own experience, feel free. Well, I really liked that you liked the stream, but I think it was a bit underwhelming because the connecting of Discord was really weird. I don't think it looked that great, but yeah. sometimes you don't have the best of experience. Sometimes you fall on your nose, which is also fine. You learned a lot. Well, that's super nice. As I already said before, we want to reach some of our goals, which will be being a listed Discord server, which means we need 1,000 members. So there's about 600 more to go. If you want to invite someone, everyone's more than welcome to invite a friend or two. If you have any concrete problems, you give me a shout. We could develop them on Friday. Otherwise, we're just going to continue chatting on and working on the community page on Friday. Still enjoyable to watch for a beginner. Well, the offer still stands. If you're in Vienna, I'm in Vienna, we can also have a chat somewhere over coffee. I would be very down. Maybe even get a few points of input from your side. I think it would be super valuable for both of us. But I really get what you're saying. When I was really, I mean, I've been watching Twitch channels since 12, 13 years. Since a long time, of course. At least my last stream was 10 years ago, by the way, or my second to last. The last one was on last Friday, but it was very interesting. And I can remember the time when I started developing more. I was really looking at just maybe having a stream like mine on a second monitor and just listening or someone glancing over to what the people say, because I think this can spark some really interesting things here. Because even if you're better than I am, and I will not deny that there's people that are better than I am, they might still learn one thing or another, because they have not been doing this, or they are better at the business side than I am, and they learned a bit more about the software side, or they are better at the software side and learned something or two about the business side. Yeah, well, Nightbot is shamelessly plugging my socials. If you haven't followed them, please go ahead. I'm Astron. Thank you for the follow. Much appreciated, although we're nearing the end. I actually saw that I could replay alerts. Let me check this out. Yeah, I can't. My Streamlabs is really broken from the time when I actually changed the authentication stuff on Twitch, because it kicked me from everywhere, and I'm still amazed that the stream is still going. So I've received a lot of emails from customers by now. If you guys don't have any more questions, I would suggest we keep talking on Friday again. And then I'll leave you to it. If you have anything, or are watching the VOD of this, because I will also publish this to YouTube, and I will also check out all the YouTube questions or YouTube comments. Most of them have been very supportive, and there was no single question there, but I will also give this. My scheduled stream is Thursday. Yes, I also saw this before. I'll have to change this. I usually wanted to stream on Thursday, but I actually have a doctor's appointment, which I forgot about. Is there any possible to going through how cookie cutter is set up, like start from a simple Django project and change it to have the same functionality as cookie cutter? Yes, we could do this. This is pretty much what I did before I used cookie cutter. This would be a lot of different steps, because You could probably start from it being non-Dockerized to pushing everything to Docker, to connecting all the Docker containers, and then we'd also have to reconfigure, because the standard start project, or start Django admin start project, I think is what it does. It's really bare bones. Then we also have to add the different database engine. But actually, yeah, it might be interesting to do it. I suppose it has been very long time since I did this. But yeah, we could do this alongside the Django documentation, because I think it's a good idea, because we actually know where the end would be and where we're working towards. And yes, maybe this is really something that I think I would be able to learn a lot from. And if you're fine too, this maybe could be something like this co-stream that I've been working that I've been mentioning. So we could both work on the same stuff and have two faces somewhere here. And yeah, maybe you're interested in that after this. Otherwise, yeah, I could do it on my own, and you could be watching and bashing me if I fail. Yeah, let's keep this in mind for next week then, because on Friday I want to have this all this scraping stuff done, and I will do this with the authentication off stream, because it's really like restricting me in what I can do, or what pages I can look up, because like for example, if you have a connected application with your secret key and you are looking at documentation from one of them, they might actually pre-fill your secret key, so you can just copy this line to the command line and actually make the call. So yeah, this is not something that we would want. I see you were just learning Django. Yeah, well, this could be very overwhelming. I see. Yeah, because a lot of stuff is working under the hood if you have worked with it before. Okay. Yeah, this is a good idea. Maybe go from 0 to cookie cutter. Or create a cookie cutter on our own. This is also possible. Alright then. I will end the stream 10 minutes ahead of schedule. If you're seeing the VOD and have questions, follow the socials and interact on the socials, and please share the Discord server, because we need 1,000 members to be able to continue our journey to being a listed server. We will be able to reach the Twitch goals rather easy. Okay. Well then, see you guys. Bye.